is about this banner at the bottom of the screen that says download your free 2,000 words ebook. If you have not heard me talk about this before, our team has created an ebook, a free ebook that has 2,000 of the core vocabulary words for English in the book. So if you go down on this page, you will see this purple section here. So the core words of a language are the words that you need, the words that are like the most common words that form like the foundation, that form the basis of fluency. So you can find this for free at EnglishClass101.com. You will get 2,000 of the core words in this free ebook. You need your name and an email address to make a free account, and then you can download this and study these vocabulary words. So if you want to study your vocabulary like very efficiently, this can be a great tool to do that. Okay. Second, if you have questions for me, great, but send them to the official question submission page for our weekly question and answer series called Ask Alicia. There's me answering a question from a viewer like you. So if you have a question for me, awesome. Don't put it in the live stream chat unless it's about today's topic, because I talk only about the topics in the live stream. So send it to me for this series and I might choose it. So make sure you send it to EnglishClass101.com/ask-Alicia. That's a very long URL, so please find the link for this in the YouTube description. If you're watching on Facebook, you can find this Ask Alicia on our YouTube channel, and you can find the link in any episode of Ask Alicia. So please, please, please send me your questions. I check it all the time, and I'm always like, oh, we need more questions. Some people send the same question multiple times. Just one time. I can read it one time. I will notice you. I promise. So please send me your questions there. Don't put them in like Instagram DMs or Facebook comments or YouTube comments. There are way too many and I cannot check them all. So please, please put them here. Okay? All right. It looks like everything is rolling. Hi, YouTube. Welcome, everybody on YouTube. I will come to say hi in just a moment. I think Facebook is also going. Facebook, I'm coming for you, Facebook. Facebook. Hi, YouTube. Hi, Jonathan, Alex, Victor, Sergey, Miguel, Victor, Bdor. Hi, Silent Planet. What's up? That's an interesting username. Facebook, are you here? If Facebook is here, we'll get going. Cool, Facebook's here. What's up, Facebook? Hi, Conde and Saeed, Sokan, Edne, Francisco from Mexico. What's up, Francisco from Mexico? Okay, I am going to like and share the video, and we are going to begin. So today we're talking about 3 ways to have better conversations, all right? So let's get into it. Let's begin with part 1. Where is part 1? Here's part 1. Okay, let's begin. So first, prepare information to share. Okay, so I'm going to, my tips today, a lot of them come from when I was teaching in front of people in classes. Now my teaching is here on the internet. But when I was teaching in class, I often noticed this, these kinds of things we are going to talk about today. So the first category for my tips is to prepare information, okay? So I know if you go to a class, or maybe even for this live stream, maybe you prepare something, I don't know. But maybe you do the homework for your lesson, right? You do the grammar, or you study the vocabulary, or you listen to a dialogue, right? You prepare like the textbook homework, right? But when you come to your classes, you also probably talk to your classmates, and you talk to your teacher, right? You also speak, usually in your classes, I hope, if it's a good class. So when you speak, you need to have information to share. So when you speak to your friends in your native language, you share information, right? Like you have something to say. So make sure you take the time to prepare information for your conversations also. When you go to the conversation, what are you going to say? So this is tip number 1. I noticed this from many learners in my lessons. Don't expect the other person, or don't expect your teacher to talk 100% of the time. So I noticed in many learners, usually the more nervous ones, and sometimes like the very beginner learners, and this is okay, I know this, but if you know you do this, if you know this is you, I have some tips for you today. Okay, so many learners, they would ask like a basic question to escape the conversation. Their favorite question was usually, what do you think? They use this question to escape the conversation. Like, I don't want to talk, you talk instead. So I noticed they do this like to the teacher, to me, like, oh, what do you think? Or ask some question maybe about the lesson. But I noticed a lot of learners use this to escape. They want you to talk, right? You want to get out of the conversation because you feel nervous, and I completely understand, right? It's very like the first time you're in a lesson, or maybe the first time you have a conversation with someone, you feel really nervous and you're like, how do I get out of this? But don't expect the other person to do all the talking, right? Make sure you participate also. So this is an important one. I know we feel nervous at the beginning. It's natural, yeah? But keep this in your mind. The conversation is there to have with other people, right? Okay? So let's go to number 2, a preparation tip. So number 2 is think about a story you can share. So when you come to your lesson, when you go to your conversation partner, when you go to your local meetup, whatever, think about something funny or something stupid or something interesting that happened to you, right? Same as you do with your native speaker friends, right? So when I want to catch up with my friends, I often tell them something so stupid happened to me last week, right? That's what we do. Or something really funny happened, or I learned this, right? So something you learned, right? Something to share in the conversation. Maybe it's some gossip you heard, right? So make sure that you have something to give to the conversation. You come to the conversation with something to do, something you can participate, right? So make sure you also prepare something from yourself, right? Because the other person shouldn't talk 100% of the time. That's very boring. Well, maybe that person really likes themselves and really likes to talk. I don't know. But make sure you prepare something that you can share. Many learners, I notice, they come to the lesson, and in my lessons anyway, they come to the lesson and they just they wait for language to happen to them, if that makes sense. They just wait to sit in the language. They don't participate, right? So make sure you also are there. You have your experience and you need to share it, right? To participate, right? So make sure you also do this step. Prepare something. It doesn't take a long time. Just think, what could I share in my lesson today? Or what could I talk to my friend about? What's a story that would be funny? A story that is interesting? Something stupid, right? Okay? And then the last point, because you might think, oh, I want to share that story, but I don't know how. Tip number 3 is for you. So practice sharing. My tip here is to practice. So before your lesson, or before the conversation, or before the phone call even, here are some ways you can practice sharing that information before you talk, okay? You can write down your story. So this is something, I do this when I need to make a phone call and in Japanese and I don't know a specific word, it's a very specific problem. I write down. I have a notepad in my computer that I write my notes in. I write a script, the sentence, the key difficult sentence for me, I write it so I can read it out loud. I look up the words I need. You can do this for your conversation also, okay? Say your story out loud. So practice saying it. Think about it like riding a bicycle, right? If you never ride a bicycle and one day you have to ride the bicycle, I don't know how to do it, right? I think I can. I read a lot of books about riding a bicycle. I watched a lot of videos about riding a bicycle. I listened to podcasts about riding a bicycle. But I've never tried, right? It's very different, right? So practice saying your story out loud. Practice actually saying those things out loud so that it's not the first time. When you get to the conversation, it's not the first time you tried to say that thing, right? So we are practicing to make it so that it feels more natural, right? So it doesn't feel strange, right? So practice sharing. This is good, okay? All right, I'm looking at the chat really quickly. Hello, everybody who is joining. Hello, everyone who is writing things. Hello. Everyone just says hello. Hello. Okay, great. Hello. Awesome. So this is part 1. Prepare information to share in your conversation. That means you have a responsibility. You got to be entertaining. You have to be funny. You have to be smart. You have to be interesting, right? It's not always the other person, right? So be a part of it. Okay, quick break, and then we'll continue to part 2. So if you missed it earlier, our team has a free 2,000-word ebook. So this ebook has 2,000 core English vocabulary words in it. If you don't know what that means, core English vocabulary words are the vocabulary words that are the most commonly used in the language. So they are the most key for fluency. So if you want to study very efficiently your vocabulary, if you want to make sure you study the words that are the most common and that you will use the most often, go download this. This is free. You can find this from the link below the video if you're watching on YouTube, above or to the side of the video. If you're watching on Facebook, you can download this with your name and an email address from EnglishClass101.com. If you do not have an account, you can make a free account to download this. So check it out. Okay? All right, let's continue part 2 of how to have better conversations. So if you haven't, please make sure to like and share this video. It helps others to find the lesson. Okay, let's go to part 2. Part 2 is ask questions. This is the shortest part today. I think you can see the theme here, okay? This is another thing I noticed from learners in my classes, learners in my lessons. They didn't practice asking questions, I think. So I encouraged them in classes, in pair conversations, okay, ask a question, you know? For some reason, many learners get to the end of a conversation or the end of a sentence and just what do I do now? Right? In your native language, you ask a question, right? To continue the conversation, or you share something. So I think many learners forget, to practice question patterns. They expect the teacher to always ask them the question. It's my job to ask you the question. No, sometimes yes, but you need to ask the questions too. Don't forget to ask the questions. Practice the question patterns. So don't wait for someone else to ask a question to continue the conversation. These are extremely important things to know how to do. If you do not know how to ask questions, go and watch my present perfect videos and my simple past tense videos and get your practice in. You have to be able to ask questions to have good conversations. You have to. You have to. Put this in your notes for today. Ask questions. Learn to ask questions. Here are some very basic ones if you don't know where to start. So basic yes or no question patterns. Did you blah, blah, blah? Did you go there? Or did you see that movie? Did you enjoy the food? Basic questions, right? Are you, right? Are you a teacher? Are you seeing anyone? Are you whatever, right? Another yes or no question about a character or about a condition. Information question patterns. Who, what, where, when, did you, blah, blah, blah. Past tense in this case. Or how, why, did you, blah, 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 right? So don't forget your question patterns. They are essential. They are so important for your language use, for your language learning. You have to know how to ask questions. You have to practice them. Don't forget. Don't wait for the teacher. Don't wait for the other person to ask the question. Yeah? You can do it. I believe in you. Okay. All right. So this is the first tip for asking questions. Like practice your question patterns. Second, like I said, when your conversation partner finishes a sentence, ask a question, right? This is something you do to continue the conversation in your native language. You can ask a question, you can share some information, right? That's not a question, or you can let the conversation die, right? So these first two are the best. Ask a question or share some information about what they said, right? So you can ask a question about their story, right? What did they just tell you? Okay, ask a question about that. Ask a follow-up question about that. Make a comment about that, okay? Be interested in the other person. Be interested in them, right? So you are not just like taking all of the information, all of the attention, right? If you just take all the information and keep it and don't ask questions, it feels boring for the other person, right? They're like, oh, this isn't fun. The other person isn't like asking anything. They don't seem interested, right? So I noticed this with learners, like they just wait to get the information and go, okay, I'm done. Bye. Like make sure you continue it, right? So don't forget your questions. They are so, so important. Okay? So this is part 2, the shortest part for today. Ask questions. Okay? Cool. So super quick part. I'm looking for your questions in the chat. What is going on in the chat today? Oh my gosh. Is this the English live stream chat? What is going on? Facebook, what's up, Facebook? Hey, Mayumi, what's up, Mayumi? I just caught you. Arup from Bangladesh, what's up? Hi, everyone, saying hello still. Okay, let's continue. Let's go to a quick break again, and then we'll go to part 3, the last part of how to have better conversations, okay? So, if you missed it, today's topic, 3 ways to have better conversations. People are having very strange conversations in the chat today. All right, let's go to a quick break again, and then we'll get to the final part, my final group of tips for today. If you missed it, our team has a free 2,000-word ebook. If you missed me talking about it just a moment ago, these are the 2,000 most commonly used words in English, which means if you study those words, you will know the most common words. They will be like the basis of your fluency. So I'll tell you about this one more time later, but if you want to download it now, click the link in the description to go download it for free. Okay? Okay, let's continue to part 3 now, the longest part maybe for today. Tip number 3, or tip category number 3, maybe difficult for some people, but important. Engage emotionally. Engage emotionally. Okay, so engage, what does this mean? So to engage means like to interact, to be together with another person, right? Emotionally means with your feelings. Use your heart, right? Use your feelings. Use like your mind and your heart when you talk to the other person. Okay? So what do I mean by this? So let's look at the first tip here. First tip here, react with emotion to the other person. Okay? So don't just use words like I see or okay, right? So when you receive information from the other person, react, right? So some learners, I see them like they wait and they get the information and then they go, and that's it. Like they just go, like that the conversation just dies right there. React with emotion, and do this in your native conversations too. When you get information from someone, react to it. That shows the other person that you are participating, you are listening, and they can, when you react to a conversation, when your friend tells you something funny or something shocking or something stupid, you react to it and your friend goes, oh, this person is sharing this experience with me now, right? We feel more connected to a person when they react in the same way as us, right? Or maybe they have a different reaction, but that's also exciting, right? But when there's just nothing, it's like, okay, this is kind of boring. Did I not communicate clearly? Is there some problem, right? So make sure you also react to the other person and be genuine. So maybe genuine is a new vocabulary for some of you. Genuine means real, means true, authentic, right? So be genuine. When someone tells you something shocking, be like, be shocked, right? If someone tells you something funny, like laugh a little bit, right? So react with emotion to the other person, right? So this leads me into I think it's my second tip. Yeah, my second tip here, I notice lots of learners, they focus so much on the next thing they want to say, right? They are focused so hard on, they're listening to the information. It's like watching like someone doing sports, like someone playing sports. Like they're waiting for the next like hit in baseball. Like they're focusing. What am I gonna do next? What am I gonna do next? Right? Focus, like let go a little bit. Let go a little bit and listen to the other person first, right? So don't focus all your energy on the next thing you want to say. This is a tip for native speakers too, because we can see when there's a difference between waiting to talk and listening, okay? We can see, at least I think smart people can see the difference between waiting to talk and listening, okay? So a conversation and language and fluency comes from some skill in listening to another person. If you always just wait to talk, I'm waiting to talk, just waiting for my turn to talk, you're not going to build all the best communication skills. You need to develop listening skills also. So be together in the conversation with the person. And if you think, oh, but it's so hard for me to try to do that and try to make my sentence and respond, this goes back to my tip from number 1. Practice your sentences. So before the conversation, before your lesson, before your session with your language tutor, take some time to practice the kinds of things you want to say, right? Of course, we don't expect it to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. We know you are learning. It's okay. So, but practice your sentences, yeah? Make sure you're not just waiting to talk. Make sure you are actually listening and participating with the other person, okay? So, this leads to my last point today. A reminder, it's okay if the conversation is a little slow. So I see a lot of, over the years, like the last 10 years, on YouTube and Facebook comments here and there, many people write to me, they say, how do I speak fast? How do I speak quickly? And I always wonder, like, why do people think that speaking really, really fast means they are fluent? Don't worry about speaking fast, okay? One, you are learning, okay? It's okay to be a little slower. I know you feel maybe embarrassed, but this is okay. In your classroom, we expect it to be a little slow, right? Your partner might be learning too, right? If it's your conversation partner or your classmate, they are also probably speaking a little slowly, and that's fine, okay? And finally, you don't have to speak fast to be fluent. I don't know why many people think, I have to speak as fast as possible and then I'll be fluent. No, no, like this is not true. There's actually studies that show that speaking slowly and confidently, like speaking at a slow rate, increases people's perception, increases people's view of someone as intelligent and confident, okay? And for me personally, when someone's speaking really fast to me, my confidence in that person goes down because I think they're trying to trick me, they are trying to sell me something, or they are trying to say their strange opinions and so I can't catch up, right? So for me and for many other people, speaking fast is a bad sign, right? So you don't have to speak super, super fast to be fluent. I don't know why people have this idea fast means fluent. Nope. Nope, take it out of your head. Speaking slowly. Like, go watch a speech from, like, President Obama. He speaks really slowly in lots of his speeches. There's a reason for it, right? So, like, it's okay to speak slowly. Don't worry about speaking slowly. And then this gives you time to listen and prepare what you want to say. It gives you time to react with emotion because you're not like panicking, how do I say this fast, right? So don't worry about speaking quickly in your conversations. Speaking at a slow, steady pace is great. And with time, you will naturally get a little faster, like riding a bike. When you ride a bike for the first time, you probably don't just speed on the bike, right? You go a little slowly. And then when you get used to it, when you become comfortable, you can go faster. Yeah, so good. All right, it's time to be done. So those are my 3 categories of tips for today, 3 ways to have better conversations. So number 3 here was to engage the other person emotionally. In part 2, I reminded you, I hope, to ask questions when you are having conversations. And number 1, the very first tip I talked about today was prepare information to share. Yeah. So I hope that these help you with your conversations in English as you study, of course, but also you can use them in your native conversation too. Okay. All right. So I have to be done for now. It is time for me to go. But I'll be back next week, of course, same time, same channel. Here is next week's lesson information. Next week we are going back to Grammar City. Next week, I'll be back on Wednesday, November 8th at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is New York City time. If you don't know your local time, please Google it, or you can set a notification on Facebook or on YouTube to make sure you don't miss this amazing lesson. Next week, we're going to talk about articles. Indefinite articles and definite articles. So if you don't know what I mean, we're going to talk about how to use a, an, and the. Some of the most challenging little things to learn in English. So we're going to review this. If you would like some homework, please go to the English Class 101 YouTube channel, or if you are a member at EnglishClass101.com, do a search for this topic, a, an, the, or articles. You will find my videos about this there, so you can have some preparation for next week's lesson. Go crazy. Okay, that's it from me for this week. So thank you, as always, for joining me. Please don't forget, our team has this 2,000-word ebook. It is free for you to download. So if you want to make sure you study the most common vocabulary words first, go download this after the live now. So you can get this for free at EnglishClass101.com to get the most efficient way to learn the most common vocabulary words for the language. So check this out. All right, thanks so much for joining me here on this live stream again this week. You can come and find me on Instagram as well. The link is in the YouTube description. And make sure you send your questions to Ask Alicia. That is also at the YouTube or in the YouTube description too. Okay, so I will say goodbye for now, but have a great day, have a great week, have a great weekend.